Good morning. Welcome to this special edition of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast, Thursday Night Football Reaction, Broncos versus Chargers edition. I thank you guys, as always, for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the show out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Trovo, and also on Podbean. Real happy this morning to be with you guys up early, talking about the thrilling game from Thursday Night Football last night. Thrilling win for the Chargers. They won 34-27. It was a very entertaining game all the way throughout. Now this has a lot of implications as far as the playoffs. Chargers pretty much are going to the playoffs. It's just a matter. They won last night, so they would have had to have lost all three games to not make it. So congratulations to the Chargers. The ticket isn't officially punched yet, but they're going to be going. Denver, I don't know what happened. It seemed like in the first half, Denver had a great game plan. It seemed like Denver was very much prepared for whatever Los Angeles was going to do. And then from the second half on, Los Angeles just took over. But I want to start in the first half where I thought the game definitely was getting out of hand, if you were a Chargers fan. First of all, both teams start off the game on the first drives going up and down the field. I thought that was definitely a positive sign if you like offensive football. Also, too, I liked how it seemed like Denver had the attack early. They were staying with the running game. Everybody has the well-known footage of run it on Sean Payton's play call sheet. And everybody and their mom knew that was the game plan going in. So I liked how the Broncos' method of attack was. They definitely were prepared. However, you kind of know where the game comes down to, and it's little things. Now, for San Diego, I keep saying San Diego, for Los Angeles to have turned the ball over, lost the turnover battle, the key to this game was they outran and outthrew the Broncos when they needed to. I mean, the Broncos had pretty much control of this game. To give you some numbers on Bo Nix to let you know how great he was, Bo Nix in that first half was tremendous. I thought the decision-making was great. I thought the offensive plan of attack was great. Bo Nix ended the night 29 of 40, 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. It just seemed like Denver had like a 21-10 lead at some point. It just seemed like it was possibly going to get out of hand. And then you have the Justin Herbert interception, which really threw things in a tailspin. So you kind of felt like, this game may get away from the Chargers. This might be a game they blow. And lo and behold, it seemed like then, right at that point, weird things started happening. You got the guy from Denver running into the San Diego returner, which helps get them downfield to get a field goal. Now, where I really felt like the game changed in the second half was when Justin Herbert broke off on that big scramble. It was a long run. It was like a 20-some-odd yard run. He broke a few tackles, got through the line. I kind of felt then that was a sign that this team wasn't going to quit, that this team was still fighting. And then you go further into it. He leads a great drive. Down the field. They score. However, 2-point conversion attempt fails. And I didn't like that call there. You got Justin Herbert running on a read option. Don't get me wrong. Big physical, big body quarterback. But he's not Josh Allen. He's not Jalen Hurts. He's not Lamar Jackson. It's not that he can't run. His frame is big enough to where he could break a few tackles. But usually that edge sweep or edge run into the end zone, that's really built for a mobile quarterback per se. So not that Herbert can't be mobile. It's just not a play call I would have designed for him in that moment. But at that point, it's 24-19. Denver still has the lead. What I thought was even greater was then right after that, this is where the game, again, starts getting out of hand for Denver. San Diego, I keep saying San Diego. Los Angeles Chargers continue to take the momentum, and they just pretty much maintain the game from there. Josh Palmer with a great touchdown. Acrobatic as hell. Taps the ball, both feet in bounds, lands in the back of the end zone, touchdown. That ultimately gave the Chargers the lead. It was 27-24 at that point, and ultimately never relinquished it. The things that kind of worried me with the Broncos, and before I get into that, I want to make sure I highlight Justin Herbert. The performance he had tonight was beautiful. He was 23 of 31, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was only sacked 2 times, so that was good. He was definitely getting out of the pocket. Doesn't seem like the ankle was any more of an issue. But what was even more impressive than just Herbert's performance, the running game on both teams was there. Both teams made a concerted effort to run the ball. Denver was 21 carries for 110 yards, 1 touchdown from Estime. And then you had the Chargers, who had 28 carries, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. So not outrushed by much if you're Denver, but it just showed you as mirror images of the same teams. Physical, running teams, play action, deep, wanted to take deep shots down the field. It was pretty much the same teams playing each other last night. Receiving core-wise, they were still pretty even. Lamb McConkey had a great game, 6 catches for 87 yards, which is kind of weird that he's really like the number one there. Quentin Johnston, 3 catches for 18 yards, targeted 6 times, had a horrible drop. I'm going to be honest with you. He's going. He's going. There's no way you could justify keeping him. And he has too many like concentration drops, too many lack of focus drops, just things that shouldn't be happening at this point in his career, especially when you came off the rookie season that you had, knowing that you had to step up. I'm not sure why you're still having concentration drops at that, in crucial moments in that part of the field. It's just weird. But yeah. And then you had to give, like I said, and it was pretty much a group effort from the receiving core from the Broncos, 29 catches, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devon Vele had a touchdown, and you had Michael Burton with a touchdown. So, again, the reality of the situation is both teams had, potentially disastrous situations. This could have went way fucking left for the Chargers. Chargers could have got blown out, and this game been over, and their playoff chances looking very dire. I got to give LA a shitload of credit. They were down big, and they just kept fighting. They kept plugging away, and they made sure it was a game. And shout out to Jim Harbaugh on that field goal decision before halftime, because really, I said the Justin Herbert run, which in my opinion was the breaking point or the changing point in the game, but ultimately that long field goal, knowing, getting to dive into the rule book and finding that archaic rule and being able to have that free play kick, and that was crucial. Because if you think about it, if they don't convert right there, Denver goes into halftime with a double-digit lead. Momentum's kind of stifled. Chargers may go into the second half trying some things that they know they're not really good at, trying to plug away some things that they're not really good at. So, be that as it may, got to give a shout out to Harbaugh and their coaching staff for being heads up and just staying on top of it. One thing I also noticed too was shout out to Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the Chargers. That game plan to fluster Bo Nix, it worked. It worked. We now know some cover 2, some blitz pressure coming off the edge. He's not as comfortable. And that's a part of his game that he'll grow and develop, but right now he's not as comfortable. And I can pretty much tell you, if teams are seeing that late in the season, playoffs or not, they're going to use that against you. They're going to use it against you. So that was definitely something key to see. I thought third down was going to be the story of this game. It kind of was, kind of wasn't. For the Chargers, they were 6 of 12 on third down, which is crucial. They didn't convert the 4th down attempt they had. That was kind of early in the game, so it was kind of weird how that all worked out. That being said, though, the third down conversions for the Broncos. See, again, they converted on like 3 or 4 of them early in the game, but they ended the game 5 of 13, which gives you an indication of how well the Chargers defense was playing late in the game. So shout out to the Chargers for that. 4th down efficiency. The Broncos early on, they went for a couple 4th downs. They were 2 of 2. Yeah, I mean, literally, Chargers outgained them in yards, passing, rushing, even penalties. A lot of bad, stupid penalties from the Broncos last night. Didn't really play clean football at all. And this is coming from a team who had time possession. Broncos were up in time possession 32 minutes and 23 seconds to the Chargers 27 minutes and 37 seconds. So definitely a game that Broncos blew. Definitely a game that the Chargers needed. So shout out to the Chargers for definitely getting one step closer to punching that ticket to the playoffs. But before I wrap this episode up, just some of the key takeaways I want to make sure I pressed on with this game. Like I said, Denver started hot but fizzled after halftime. Running game and pass game suffered. The screen game sucked. Like I said, the blitz packages is something that Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to have to definitely adjust and deal with going into the rest of the season or into the playoffs potentially. LA, like I said, showed resolve after being down 24-10. Love their effort. Momentum dictated the second half of this game, like most football games. I know Jalen Hurts says that's a figment of imagination, but a lot of times you can see it. Yeah, and that Herbert scramble, in my opinion, pretty much opened the game up. Gus Edwards, a.k.a. the Chargers, Walter Payton. It just seems like whenever this guy's on the field and he's healthy, this offense is just a bit better. Him and Vidal, who I like Vidal a lot, out of running back out of Troy, they are okay, but they're going to need more running like power, and girth and speed from that position going forward. I definitely expect them in free agency and in the draft to be a player at that position. They definitely need another running back, a game breaker, for lack of better words. I'm interested now if Denver can beat Cincinnati next week, because it's not an automatic that Denver's going to get into the playoffs. Denver has to win out their last several games too to make it. Losing this game and I know that the Bengals defense has been atrocious, but makes you kind of wonder, can you win that game? Because a lot of people, I'm not going to bullshit you. It was said last night, it was said throughout, this week, a lot of people want the Bengals to make the playoffs. Now, I don't feel that the Bengals have deserved to make the playoffs, but I understand why people feel like they should. People feel like if they get in, they're the most legitimate threat to Kansas City. And even at the worst, it's just going to be entertaining football. So I get it. But Denver's going to have to definitely step up to the occasion if they want to make the playoffs, because that was very telling last night that you had a 2-touchdown lead and you couldn't maintain a lead because your quarterback was getting blitzed off the edge and they took the screen game away from you. And ultimately didn't allow you to get chunks in the running game anymore. So definitely something there. And the Chargers playoff chances. Like I said, to finish this up, Miami and Indianapolis have to lose, and then the Chargers will clinch a playoff berth. So it's pretty much that simple for the Chargers. Keep winning and you're in. But at any point that Miami or Indianapolis lose, which is highly likely, the Chargers will be in the playoffs. So it's going to do it for this episode, guys. And again, as always, check the show out. It also, too, as I've stated, championship football season, playoff football. If you're in college football, you're looking for tickets for the events coming up, check out StubHub, the place for tickets and concerts and events. I'll have a link in the description for tickets and things coming up throughout the holiday season, going into the top of next year that you might be interested in. Definitely while you got the time off, definitely take advantage of it. As always, guys, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Take care and enjoy the rest of your Friday. And Merry Christmas and enjoy your holidays, guys.